Hello and welcome back to another episode of BattleCHAT, where you guys chill out and I talk about BattleCon concepts. In this episode, we're gonna talk about tips for beginners. Hello, people who are watching this video who may or may not be beginners. Have you ever looked at BattleCon and thought to yourself, gee willikers, I want to get into that game. I want to play it. It looks kinda like BlazBlue the board game. However, there's a lot of things I don't know. A lot of people are way better than me. I don't know how I could ever compete with them. I don't know what to do. What's the good strategy? What are great attack pairs? Man, Marco, what should I do? Well, have no fear, random hypothetical strawman stranger. I'm here to tell you guys some tips for how to start off at BattleCon, especially if you're a beginner. Now, there are just 3 simple concepts that you have to understand. Number 1, bases. The bases in BattleCon literally dictate how almost everything else in the game works. If something in BattleCon exists, it's usually a way to mess with the bases, modify the bases, or help the bases do their job. Literally, if you abstract BattleCon in this way, it's not as daunting as you can think of because of the simple fact that just by understanding how bases work, you'll have a rudimentary understanding of how the entire game works. Now, all you have to understand about bases is that it's a complicated rock, paper, scissors, lizard, Spock. And if you don't believe me, check the comment section down below for a long post I made on a forum on BoardGameGeek detailing why the bases in BattleCon are essentially a rock, paper, scissors, lizard, Spock. It even tells you why specific bases counter other bases in specific contexts. Now, with the understanding of bases under your belt, we can go to number 2. Attack pairs. Attack pairs exist to make bases better. That's it. Don't care about like pulling off crazy attacks or pulling off whatever. In the end of the day, a style is paired with a base so that you can either A, cover the weakness of that base, or B, extend that base's primary function. That's it. If you try to abstract BattleCon in this way, many of the attack pairs I present to you guys in the videos follow this concept. They either cover a weakness or extend its strengths. And this is what's really not explained when you're playing BattleCon for the first few times. People oftentimes get lost in wondering what a good attack pair is because of the fact that they're just trying to look at all the effects and they all mishmash together and it gets really complicated. However, if you did number 1 and understood the bases properly, you now know why the base is strong, but at the same time, you now know why the base is weak. And so forming good attack pairs in your head is so simple now. I want to make a decent attack pair with Drive. What is Drive's weakness? Oh, it doesn't have enough power or speed to counter Strike or Grasp? Well, gee willikers, then I'll just pair it with more power or more speed or both. What if I want to make another pair with Drive? Well, now that we have one that covers its weaknesses, what makes Drive strong? It has decent priority. Oh, it also has decent range. What if I pair it with an attack that gives it more priority or gives it more range in order to extend its primary strength of giving me hit confirm at some decent speeds? And finally, we can move on to number 3. The hardest but easiest tip when playing BattleCon is this. Pick one character and play them for 10 games. Like, don't play anyone else. Just one character for 10 games. This does multiple things. Number 1, it allows you to reinforce concepts 1 and 2. By playing with the same character, you get to see how that character values specific bases, which allows you to reinforce lesson number 1, which is to understand the strengths and weaknesses of bases. And by playing the same character over and over again, you'll realize how their styles can synergize with bases and how they can cover the weaknesses or augment the strengths of those bases, which again reinforces lesson number 2, which is forming decent attack pairs. However, more than this, it does the following. It makes you good at a character. By picking a character and getting good with them rather than spreading yourself out and playing multiple characters, you become the character. I mean, that sounds really pretentious, but really, you become that character. You understand the nooks and crannies of that character. You understand what attack pairs are good. You understand what pairs are bad. You understand what ranges they're good at. You understand what bases they want at the start of the game. And this understanding of a character can go miles and miles in your understanding of other characters. Because once you've firmly established yourself on a character, you can then use them as a standard for understanding other characters. Easiest example, when I was starting off when playing BattleCon, my first character that I played 10 games with was Cadenza. I absolutely loved Cadenza. Cadenza is so fun because he has a lot of stun guard, he can deal a lot of damage, and he's just a cool robot thing. And I like cool robot things. So I mastered Cadenza. What then? When I switched characters and played somebody like Rukyuk, I was able to understand Rukyuk easier because I could compare him to Cadenza. Oh, Rook has way more range than Cadenza does, but Rook doesn't have nearly enough stun guard. Oh, Rook has a lot of minimum range. Cadenza had minimum range on grapnel before, and that was really hard to play when I was really near the opponent. Cadenza really didn't like playing grapnel that much unless the opponent was far away. Oh, but you can see that Rook actually has a lot of movement that allows him to get away from opponents. That's how the minimum range on his styles work. That makes those styles way more strong for Rook than they are for Cadenza, because Cadenza has no way of moving the opponent or moving himself quite easily. Oh, I see. Now you understand this kind of experience. You can easily use the first character you learn as a litmus test for understanding other characters. And of course, that kind of understanding isn't perfect, but that kind of understanding can go a long way in making you ease into BattleCon. So at the end of the day, getting into BattleCon and the easiest tips for getting good at BattleCon really fast is really simple. Number 1, understand how bases work. Number 2, understand how to make attack pairs. And number 3, stick to one character. All of these together will allow you to get into BattleCon as quick as you can say, battle on. However, that is just my opinion, and that's just me having a little battle chat. If you guys have any comments, questions, or suggestions, do put them in the comments section down below. I will read them and reply if necessary. And of course, if you guys have your own opinions, maybe you guys think my tips are horrible. Maybe you guys have other tips you want to share. Do put them in the comment section down below, not just for my benefit, but for the benefit of everyone else. And of course, as with any Battle Chat video, if you guys have any topics you want me to talk about, do put them in the comment section down below because they will become the topic for a future video. Without much else to say, thanks for watching and good night.